Welcome to Collector's Hideout, the podcast where we get together and just kind of talk shit and get away from the real world. I'm your host Wheezy, and tonight I'm being joined by Shellhead Tony. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, doing fantastic. Got a cat behind me, so there's always good.
Usually that's like later in the show that happens, so we're getting an early preview this time. Also, Mr. Psycho, how's it going, man?
Doing well. How's it going?
It's all right, you know. Hate work, but it is what it is. So, there was really no set topic for this evening. Um, I'm just trying to get in the habit of doing a cast every week versus doing it every other week. Just I enjoy doing it and having fun, and I feel like at least the people I have on enjoy doing the show. So we should do them more often. So this is kind of like a wild card episode, and I'm just going to give anybody the chance to discuss, talk, whatever they want to kind of bring up, and shoot the shit over, and we can just go from there, see where the chat takes us, and just enjoy the next hour 15 or so.
Okay.
So I got two things.
Hit it.
What the fuck? Well, okay, never mind. I'm gonna get.
One
All right.
thing.
He brought that up last time, and I wasn't gonna say anything about it, but so I could see that because there's always flashbacks, right? Every movie there's a flashback to another Back to the Future movie. So, like, even if it's like a small, short, minute, they're changing something in the past. So, of course, you would see
Right.
Billy Zane in the three videos or three movies. But two things. One small thing I was going to bring up was, do you guys see the Wolverine game?
Yeah,
Is there a trailer for it?
Shit!
there is. And then there's an extended trailer that's part of the behind the scenes thing. So the trailer's like a minute and a half, and the behind the scenes info thing, which shows more footage, is like 4.5 minutes.
All right, no, because like I know some Cuban guy messaged us, oh, the Wolverine looks amazing. And the only thing I seen of it was like pictures, screen captures. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I guess it looks good. I didn't know what there was. And well, thanks, Gustavo. But yeah, I'm definitely not bald. Like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. I just like to wear fucking hats. Hater.
What's up, Damien? So
What's going on, man?
They teased, if you watch the trailer, they showed Mystique, they showed Omega Red. There's another scene that I swear it's Cable, but it might be Omega Red without his, like tentacle things coming out. But I thought it was Cable. And then you had, they show the prototype for the Sentinel. They show, there's another character, I can't think of who it is, but it looks
Omega
fantastic.
Red?
Huh?
Omega Red is getting a lot of push lately. 'Cause I just saw something today that popped up, said that it's being rumored, or the speculation of that he's going to be in one of the upcoming movies. I don't know if it's a Spider-Man movie or if it's an X-Men. Like, he's going to be in something coming up, supposedly.
So, he's a cool character. I liked him as a kid. Now I don't know or remember any of his story, but I always I wanted to, what was it, like Russian or something or German?
He is Russian, and that's why he's getting a lot of play recently because, clearly with the tension between, Russia and Ukraine, and then the tension now slightly between America and Russia, he's kind of becoming another thing.
That makes sense. So it's like, I hate to say it, but political feeds.
So he was. I mean, this. I might sound like an idiot for this. I don't give a shit. It's my cast, but I got into like the MCU with the MCU, like that, just like those characters of Marvel superheroes. I didn't read those comics. I wasn't familiar with them. I knew the names. I had like the collector's cards from like, way back, Marvel masterpieces and stuff, but I never read like the comics. So I don't remember all the characters. So when I was watching Iron Man 2, when they had Whiplash,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in my mind, I was like, oh, what, they couldn't get rights to Omega Red? I thought that was supposed to be Omega Red. But apparently it was a real character that I just didn't know about. But when I first saw that, I was like, holy shit, this is like, why did they just use Omega Red? Like, that seems like it'd been such a cooler character to have.
Well,
in this
because
movie.
remember that at the time, Fox owned all of the mutants
No, that's
from
fine. I'm just
Marvel.
saying, like, it wouldn't make sense because he's not a Iron Man villain, anyways, right? So it wouldn't have made sense. I didn't know those characters back then as to who was what, where was what. Like, I just knew X Men and then Spider Man's who I knew stories of.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's just fucking Whip or Omega Red. It was no, but he was a Russian too, wasn't he?
he was.
Man, Russians like whips.
Well, they did that on purpose.
I see that.
Um, again, it was
More to that. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, because Whiplash in the comics was a thing, but was not as well known as Omega Red, and so when they were making the Iron Man thing, there's a lot of similarities between Iron Man and Omega Red, right? So Omega Red was originally a super soldier, like a Russian super soldier, but instead of just enhancing him with a fluid, right, like a steroid concoction or whatever, like they did with some of the other Russians, like Red Guardian, they actually turned him into a cyborg to do it, and then they gave him those tentacles, which are different kind of metal. I don't remember. It's carbon something, but I don't remember exactly what it's called. But the thing about that carbon stuff is it releases things which they called death spores, I think it was in the comics. And those things are like slowly killing him. So to avoid that, they had to give him this serum, and the serum made him like super crazy. And then he just descended into being a supervillain.
so this sounds like Wolverine. Cool. All right. Um,
Yeah,
Am I
Wolverine and
wrong?
Doc Ock had a baby, and it came out.
yeah, like Wolverine's dying from the adamantium in his body. Like his healing powers keeping him alive, but it's not strong enough, so he slowly is dying, just not as fast. Cool. And he's super strong, just not a super soldier. All right. Like I said, I remember watching that Iron Man. I was like, oh, that's Omega Red. That's cool. And it's like, oh no, it's Whiplash. I'm like, oh, that's something I
Is
don't
that
know. I don't remember.
carbonadium, like adamantium,
Something
but
carbonadium.
carbonadium.
Yeah, it's carbon something, carbonodium or carbonadium or
So it's
whatever
like
you're saying.
carbon and adamantium together.
It's like a
So it's
so
like
it's supposed to be it's supposed to be an inferior metal, right? Like in America, Captain America's got like the vibranium shield, and then you have Wolverine with the adamantium, and the Russians were always like a step behind and just trying to get things quick, and so it was carbonodium or whatever it was, but like the Russian scientists didn't realize that when it was interacting with the human body, it would release what they called death spores that would start killing the host. So, yeah.
shit happens.
Oh,
But
good.
I'll watch the. I'll try and watch the trailer tonight or tomorrow because I didn't realize it was dry. Like I said, I've only seen screenshots for the game. So
Yeah, it looks like it's the engine. I know it's not because I think Rocksteady I think Rocksteady
Yeah.
was the engine they were using for the Batman games. It gives a little bit of that battle vibe, the way I see him moving around the screen and stuff like that.
was it
But I think
Rocksteady?
huh?
Rocksteady made the Batman games, yes, but not the Wolverine game.
Right.
But no, but who was using the Unreal?
Well, that's like Mortal Kombat. I think uses Unreal.
A lot of games use Unreal.
Because like I'm thinking like dude, for years there was Unreal Tournament, which was an amazing
Well,
fucking
that was
game.
back in the day.
Right, but from there, a lot of games use their system.
And a lot of larger companies like Insomniac have a proprietary system. So the engine that Tony was talking about, I guess he hasn't played the Spider-Man games on the PlayStation, but that's the engine they're using. So the engine from Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation, that's the engine that's being used for the Wolverine game. The difference is that it's been pumped up because the Wolverine game is being made specifically with the PlayStation 5 Pro in mind, and the Spider-Man 2 game was made with the PlayStation 5 in mind. So that's why it looks slightly better, but it's the exact same engine.
so I just googled it, and the same Unreal is making all the engines for it. So Unreal was part of the Batman engine. Unreal was part of the Spider-Man, and Unreal is now Unreal 5 or whatever is going to be Wolverine's engine. So that's why the gameplay.
I swear I remember seeing the Unreal logo loading up Batman.
Yeah, I saw it was kind of crazy, but I'm a huge fan of the Arkham games, right? I played them all, beat them all. They're fantastic. They're great stories. They're great open world kind of games, for sure. But I never
all
got
the
in.
figures up here, all of them.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I never got into. I tried playing Red Dead Redemption. I couldn't do it. It got to be like too much of a Grand Theft Auto for fucking horses.
That game was amazing though.
I couldn't get into it, man. I tried.
So the problem I had with Red Dead, it's enjoyable, but it gets really repetitive when you're trying to do like all the little side quests and like all the other shit. And then once you've beaten the story, you're just like in free roam. It gets real fucking repetitive real quick.
Well, that's not
I think
GTA.
Grand Theft Auto though.
And the first 2 Batman games were amazing, and the last one was absolutely trash.
What?
What was the last one?
Arkham Knight.
Oh, Arkham
What?
Knight.
You didn't like Arkham Knight?
Arkham Knight was trash. The
Oh,
game was incredibly buggy, right? There were glitches everywhere, glitches and bugs everywhere.
Son of a
Some of
bitch.
them were game breaking. The introduction of the Batmobile was fine until they forced you to use it, right? Because the Batmobile did not work the way that it was supposed to. If it was optional, right, with all the traversal abilities in the game, like
So
the
you're-
gliding and everything, but the Batmobile was trash. It ruined the game.
But see, you're going through all this. How many times did the bugs break your game?
Actually, several times.
See, I never had one
I
issue.
can't say I ever had that problem.
Yeah, I never had a
So-
game. My game get broke. There was no bugs that I had that I can be like, oh my god, like I can't say I had flawless gameplay because I don't know what all the bugs were to say, oh, that didn't happen. But I never had an issue.
But were you playing the game when it first came out, or did you play it way after it released?
I couldn't. I don't remember, man. That was years ago.
Because the game came out in 2015, and everybody that was playing it at launch, at least for the first year, their game breaks everywhere. You can go on YouTube and you
played it
can look
late.
it up.
Yeah,
You
I
can
played
go on
19,
YouTube and
maybe
you can
20.
look it up. When you would grapple to places, if you tried to jump down from a railing, sometimes you would jump down and fall through the street and just keep falling. And it was just people would take videos where they were falling for 35 minutes, and the deaths just got higher and higher. It never stopped.
Well,
That happened to people all the time.
but that shit happens. That shit would happen to us in Grand Theft Auto. Fall through the map, and then you're just fucking. You have to reset the system to get out of it.
Yes, but it happened a lot in.
It happened
in
almost
Batman.
every fucking game we play.
And so, like for me, one of the game breaking glitches that I had, and I wish Microsoft hadn't been assy and gotten rid of their clip collector, because I used to have this clip. I saved it from my Xbox One, and recently Microsoft was like, "Oh, if you don't save these as something else, we're going to start erasing them." And I missed the time to save it. But essentially, it was the last Batmobile mission where you're going after Deadshot, and I was coming around a turn, and all of a sudden the game just took control. It spun my tank backwards. It started like pulling it out into the middle of the fire where all the tanks were, and then all of a sudden the game screen turned black, and then you just heard all these crazy noises, and they were like these like jumping shapes that came out, and then Batman came out of like a completely shadowed look, jumped out of the Batmobile, grabbed Deadshot, who wasn't even out of his tank, and then the next thing you know, he's just like choke slamming him down through the middle of the ocean, and it went like that for a good 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden it went black again and switched to Batman putting Deadshot in the back of the Batmobile.
So you won.
I did, but I didn't get the last
All
fight.
right.
I didn't get to do anything, right? And it's like,
You got the right outcome though.
yeah.
Yeah, but
See,
I hated.
so-
That's the only thing I hated was that battle. They forced you to use the tank to fight, or the Batmobile to fight. I don't even remember. It was like 20 fucking tanks.
Yes, it was a
And
lot.
you had to sneak up on these assholes because they would
Yeah.
fucking blow you up. You'd get through all of them. There'd be like 3 left, and somehow one would catch you, and fuck you up in one shot. So I can't tell you how many times I played that, or the part where, do you remember in the tunnel? This might be the game before, when you're in the tunnels, and you have to like I think you have to drive your Batmobile because he's chasing you in this drill
I
thing.
think the Batmobile's only in
The Batmobile's only in the last game.
So it's
Yeah.
part of that. Then you're like running through these tunnels and you don't know where to go. And if you fuck up once, you got to start over again.
Yep.
And he's chasing you, and finally get to the end, and that Batmobile like jumps over this. I don't even know what the hell it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a hard ass game though, but
So-
I liked this. And maybe I'm thinking of the wrong game, but I like the side stories where the Man Bat.
That's the game you're talking about.
I
The right
love
game.
that game.
So
Yeah, I mean-
then my question is this, because you say the game sucked, and Tim's saying, "Oh, Arkham Knight sucks." If you guys played it at drop with all these errors and bugs versus where I didn't have any errors, so I must have played it later. Tony didn't either. And we had a great gameplay experience. So your claim of, "Oh, that game sucks," is just because of the bugs. But the actual game itself, bugs aside, was a great fucking game.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I can understand why you say that. I still disagree. Even if there were no bugs, I didn't like the fact that too much of the game relied on you using the Batmobile. As Batman, I want to use the Batmobile when I want to. I don't want to be forced to use it. And there were a lot of times when the game is like, okay, you have to use the Batmobile. That's it. It's like, well, I can essentially fly in this game, right? Like, it's not just gliding. I can actually fly in this game.
That's just a game.
But why do I have to use the Batmobile?
But that's giving you the experience of being Batman. That's like getting mad, like, "Oh, hey, you in this mission you have to be stealth."
But I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. It's the difference. It's the difference of if I want to use it and call it awesome, but why am I being forced to use it for this mission when I could just jump from building to building to building and get wherever I want to go?
Exactly,
Right,
because
cool,
in the previous Batman games, they let you do what you wanted to do. There was a story, but you could tackle it how you wanted.
Yeah.
You could fight things the way you wanted. You could sneak in stealthily. But in this game, they're like, no. We're going to take away the stealth option in certain areas. You're going to have to use the Batmobile. You're going to have to go in the vehicle. You're not going to be able to be
No,
on
but
foot.
I guess my point is that your claims of this, okay, cool, but then the first two games and the third game, there was missions where you had to do stealth. If you didn't do stealth, you get dinged for it.
You get shot.
You have to restart. So it's
Yeah.
the same thing. You had to do it. You didn't have an option. Now, how you did it, how you went about the stealth, okay, cool, but you had to do stealth. Like, it's the same thing. It's just trying to give you different aspects to play the game, different, the full Batman experience. Like, you can't be fucking mad that the Batman game wants you to drive the goddamn Batmobile. They'd be like, "Oh man, I was playing Ghostbusters. It fucking made me drive that Ecto 1.
When you
I drove the Ecto 1.
But when you have the experience that you had in Arkham Asylum, and then you have Arkham City, which in my opinion is still the best of the Batman games, right? And then they take away a lot of that kind of like you against everything sort of deal. And they're like, okay, well now we're gonna force you to do this. Like Batman's not about big grand scale tank combat in the middle of the freaking streets and doing all this shit. Like it's so very unlike Batman, right? That it's just it definitely took me out of the story, right? The first two games, like you are Batman, and the third game, it's like you're dressed like Batman, and sometimes you act like Batman, but sometimes you act like Tank Man, and that's kind of not what I want. I don't need to be Tank Man.
So
Hold on,
Origins,
Tank Man.
the ending boss for Origins. I'm sorry, I can't remember like everything, right? So I remember Asylum. You fight the Joker, and I can't remember. Does he take the serum in the first one or the second one?
The first one.
Okay, so he's dead because I think carries him out, right? Doesn't Bruce like carry him out?
At the end of the second game, he carries him out and he's dead.
So then
he shoots himself up with the serum in the first game, and you fight like giant Joker.
Yeah, it's the easiest battle ever. But
yeah.
So then the third one has the last person you fight is Tombstone or not Tombstone. My God, Solomon Grundy, and then Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul, however you want to say it. That was not that it was a bad game, but I could have thought of 20 other people I would have rather fought at the end. I like this Arkham City, I think, because Azrael was like the person you would see him like in the wall. I'm like favorite fucking Batman character ever. But they incorporated the Azrael everywhere in the game. So it was really cool. He would keep guiding. I think it's the second one because
It is.
I
It
think
is.
that's when Batman was kind of going nuts because he kept seeing the Joker
Yeah, you have to
everywhere or
keep
something like that.
looking for like those Bible verses or whatever, right? Or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, it's kind of how he starts. He's like the savior or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess back to my original point, I love those free roam games when there's they put effort into how you're going to execute the story, and I think Batman by far has done it better than most other free roam games. You got to play, you got to do whatever you wanted to do. You got to be Batman who beat the shit out of everybody. It wasn't like I don't want to take away from older NES games because they have their charm. It's what we had at the time, but this is one of those games where it's like it's a beat 'em up game, but it's strategy. Like you have to think about what you're doing. You're some dude up on a fucking building in the middle of the night, and you see 30 dudes below, and you're like, okay, where am I going to drop? Who am I going to kick first? Because then it was cool because you'd go to kick the next guy, and it was a sequence of somersaults and shit. Well done.
Thinking about all the other, especially because it's free roam, right, and other superhero free roam games.
Yeah.
Batman for me was the most solid, the most enjoyable, the best story. Like it shit on the competition at the time, like the Spider-Man free roam game. Like it was fucking trash compared to Batman. Like Batman was just on top of it.
Yeah, because the Spider-Man game, like Spider-Man 2, for instance, it was a great game when it came out. But Arkham Asylum came out in 2009, right? Games had progressed from then, and the Spider-Man 2 game, which everyone was like, this is the best video game based on a movie that's been released. It was essentially, the story was just what you had in the movie, and there weren't like story missions that were surprising. So yeah, obviously Batman Arkham Asylum was significantly better, not to mention that it had the benefit of the voice cast from the animated series, which is still considered probably the greatest animated show of all time, as far as as far as superheroes, right? Like The Simpsons is up there for best animated show, but
X-Men?
I mean, I don't think you'll find anyone that says the X-Men show is better than Batman the Animated Series.
Amazing Spider-Man?
Oh no, you know what? I'll say this right now: Batman the Animated Series is shit. How about that? Shit.
I mean, that's just because you're a troll and you don't
That's
actually.
that's way too far the other way because I love that and I watched it every day with my brother as a kid.
No, it's not because I'm a troll, you dick. It's because as growing up when it was on, I watched it. I did not enjoy it. I was not a fan of it at all. I just didn't get into it. So I would easily say Simpsons is better, X-Men's better because those are things I was watching.
I mean, X-Men is absolutely not better. Batman is way better because they were able to do things that cartoons at the time were not allowed to do. So,
awesome,
for
that's
instance,
a great opinion you have. Doesn't mean mine's wrong.
So, for instance, in X-Men, they weren't allowed to have real guns. They had to have laser guns. The censors wouldn't let them do it. Instead of them, when they were making Batman the Animated Series, instead of asking them, hey, can we do this? They just did it. And the censors were like, okay, I guess it's not that bad, and left it in. So Batman the Animated Series was actually the first kids superhero show that was broadcast on TV that was allowed to use real guns with real bullets, and they weren't laser and they weren't fake, right? Like, it added to the realism of the story. I don't know. I will say this: if you guys are Spider-Man fans, Spider-Man, and I think somebody in the chat was saying it, Spider-Man and Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation, they're all on PS5 right now. In my opinion, they are right up there with the Batman games, and Spider-Man 2 might actually rival Arkham City. Arkham City is fantastic. Spider-Man 2, everything that it packs in, it's amazing. Right, like you actually feel like Spider-Man. The combat is very similar to Arkham, to the Arkham series, but like you have all the Spider-Man things. You have web shooters, you have super strength, you have all this stuff, and so you're like tearing through people. It's great.
I'll have to check it out because I mean I'm all about my whole arm. This whole arm is Spider-Man stuff, so I'm all about it, man. I'd love to play it. I don't know why I haven't to this point, but it's probably because I've been going back playing other games. What?
That's surprising to me that you haven't played it.
Yeah, I really haven't, man. I've been going back playing other different stuff. Been trying to go back and find Robotech games because there's a few that have come out. And then, yeah, that's pretty much.
Do you have a PlayStation 5?
Yeah.
So your best bet is going to be, if you want to play the Spider-Man games, buy the special edition of Miles Morales, because that version you can buy it digitally. When I bought it, it was $20, but that version of Miles Morales actually comes with the complete remaster of the first Spider-Man game, which was a PS4 game, and then you can just buy Spider-Man 2 and then play them in the proper order. Play Spider-Man 1, play Miles Morales, then play Spider-Man 2. The games just keep getting better, and I think if you play it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, Spider-Man 2 is just amazing. Spider-Man and Miles feel completely different when you're playing as them. They have different abilities. It's amazing what they were able to do. And then Spider-Man actually gets the symbiote suit in Spider-Man 2, and he plays completely differently than he had in any of the other games. It's crazy how, I guess, realistic they made combat with those characters.
See, that would be exciting, because, like, when I watch the cartoons, right, or whatever you want to call it, the movies, call it what it is, it's a fucking cartoon. But you watch Spider-Man, and you see the way he moves around, and then when I first got introduced, the only time you've ever seen Miles Morales on screen, right? So you see him on screen in these movies.
Did you like those movies?
Huh?
Did you like those movies?
Yeah, I liked them.
The cartoon ones, yeah, they're great.
No, I know you did.
Yeah.
I'm asking Tony if he did.
Yeah,
I'm surprised by that answer.
So, I enjoyed it. So, and I thought it was kind of cool. Like, I don't know how to put this, like, without, like, it sounding stupid, but when you watched Miles first get the suit, right, or wear whatever he's wearing, his high tops and all that bullshit, you first see him put on the suit and you see him run out there and do his thing. The way he moves, you kind of expected him to move that way.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes any sense, like, kind of a little bit clumsy but still fluid, because
Yeah.
he's wearing sneakers, he's wearing a hoodie, he's wearing short, like, it all had to make sense. So he was moving like somebody who would be wearing that outfit. Like, I can imagine if I was a skinny black kid, really small, and I had on all those clothes, could I move like that if I was Spider-Man? And I kind of got that vibe, the way they made him move. So it sounds like what you're saying is when you play the game, they took that into consideration, where it's like Spider-Man moved like this in all these movies, Miles kind of moved around like this, and then maybe Spider-Man 2, or... Right?
Spider-Man 2 is the last one, the most recent one, yeah.
Spider-Man 2, and is that based on Tom Holland?
No, these are just completely their own universe. They're video games.
So it's just Peter Parker, they don't say who it is?
No.
Okay. But Miles is Miles, right?
Well, it is, but again, it's within their
Miles.
universe. It's based on comic. But I'll tell you, they take it even a step further, Tony, because when you play the Miles Morales game, Miles is not playable in Spider-Man 1. He appears in certain scenes, but he's not playable. But in Miles Morales Spider-Man, when you start, he's essentially just kind of gotten his powers, and while he's not dressed in a bunch of stuff, he's got a Spider-Man suit. He plays like he's not confident. His moves aren't fluid. The combos work, but they're slow, and they're like you can stop.
It's what you'd expect.
Like,
Yeah,
he's still
and then-
figuring it out.
Yeah, and then at the end of the game, at the end of the Miles game, he's better, right? Like he is more fluid because he's been fighting, he's been doing all these things. But when Spider-Man 2 starts and it throws you into Miles, it's like, holy crap, Miles has actually become Spider-Man. Everything that he does is fluid. There's no wasted movement. It's like Peter had gotten to the point where anything he does, he's doing on purpose. There's nothing wasted, right? And Miles gets there at the beginning of Spider-Man 2, and then by the end, you have these two like super powered Spider-Men. It's fantastic. You fight Venom, and Venom feels like bulky and huge and menacing, and the ground like cracks and stuff as he's walking.
Love.
Yeah.
So
So like
want to see Venom as anything but just this big. I want to see Hulk size Venom.
and that's where the Venom I showed you, the Venom you were talking
you-
about
you
getting
don't
from
want-
Hot Toys,
Mhm.
that's where that design comes from, is that game.
So you don't want Topher Grace as Venom? You don't want Eric Foreman as Venom?
Dude, that was such an abomination. Like, I remember when that came out, how excited I was that I'm like, we're gonna get Venom on the screen. I lost my crap. We're gonna get Venom. We're gonna get Venom. We're gonna get Venom. And then they bring him out, and I'm like, why does he look like a vampire? Like his mask goes back, and he's like, How you doing, Parker? He's
Bro, like they got Topher Grace, and he's such a unintimidating person because you know him from obviously that '70s show where he's
yeah.
Eric Foreman. Like you can't get away from that. But then you see him later in Predators. He's in the Predator movie, and even there, he seemed more of a threat and a badass and a villain than he did as Venom. Like when he was Venom, it was just so bad. He did not
So weird,
fit
dude.
that at
I don't
all.
I don't know. The movie wasn't great, and I would have preferred the like jacked up Eddie Brock character to be in the movie. But I understand what they were going for. They were going for the dark, like the dark mirror version of Tobey Maguire.
Probably.
That's the Venom that Sam Raimi was trying to put on the screen. It wasn't the hey, this person is huge and super strong and like they're coming to get you. It was the what happens if you let yourself, because when Toby's character gets the symbiote on him, he starts becoming right. He starts becoming what Venom ends up becoming. Like it starts to control him. It starts to take over, and so it's supposed to be narratively speaking like what happens if you give into these instincts. Like what happens if you do the wrong thing, if you're not struggling to be better. And so they
Essentially,
needed somebody who looked like Tobey Maguire and would be essentially the dark mirror
yeah,
version of the
it's
character.
it's Peter Parker, but with his evil twin mustache. That's yeah.
You with his emo haircut?
Uh, we got to dance.
He's like, oh, Mary Jane. Like whipping his hair back. He's one of the goth kids from South Park.
But I
So,
mean,
um, I missed something. Somebody who was it? I think it was Gustavo. That they showed
I gotta get ice.
Miles
Keep talking.
Morales' uncle in the live action movies.
Yes.
yeah, in Spider-Man: Homecoming,
Oh, I missed that.
they showed Aaron. He webs him to the trunk of the car. It's
Sure.
played by Donald Glover. You know what I'm talking. You know the scene I'm talking
Oh,
about.
I know Donald Glover. I remember that scene. Oh, so he was.
That's
That's
his.
funny because Donald Glover loves Miles Morales. Doesn't he voice him or something?
I don't know. I don't think so. But
Donald Glover and Miles Morales are intertwined. I don't know why or how. I don't follow it like that, but they are intertwined. I feel like he wanted to be it. He wanted to voice it. Or Donald Glover and Miles Morales are intertwined.
well, I mean, um, he did play the Prowler in Homecoming, but he was never in his costume, and it alluded to the crimes because he was on probation. But he never called himself the Prowler. It was just Uncle Aaron. And when Peter's trying to intimidate him, he's like, "I'm going to help you because I got a nephew in this area, and I don't want guns like that on the street." Right? So it was alluding to it. And then in the most recent, it was Across the Universe, the Spider-Man Across the Universe,
Right.
and they show
Miles
Donald Glover
Morales.
from Tom Holland's Spider-Man universe dressed as Prowler in one of the prisons, in one of the like laser prisons there.
So Donald Glover, he inspired the character and eventually played Miles Morales in 2015. Um, I guess there was a show called the Ultimate Spider. Season 3, he voices Miles Morales.
The Ultimate Spider.
Yeah,
Like a TV series?
yeah, it's a cartoon.
Oh, that's why.
Finally, like the thing started says, finally Donald Glover is Miles Morales in the Ultimate Spider Season 3 Web Warriors.
So
No idea what the fuck that is, but so Miles
it's kind
Morales
of,
and Donald Glover are intertwined.
if you go back to Tobey Maguire, right? Like first Spider-Man we got to see on the big screen that was worth a damn. Because there was
Yeah.
a 70s one and that or 60s, and I can't remember what that was. But so the first Spider-Man that like anybody gave a damn about. Now, we weren't all in love with his Peter Parker role. I think as we got further into their movies. But I think he did a good job of Spider-Man. You're squinting a lot. What's going
Yeah,
on?
no, because I don't
No.
agree with that. I think. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I can see that, right? Because I think for me, I can agree to it. The idea of how like actors who portray Superman, you often get either a good Superman or a good Clark Kent. It's hard to get the
Yes.
two in one actor, right? Um, the first Spider-Man, I think there was no flaw there between Tobey Maguire playing Peter and Spider-Man. But as it went on, I think it was just because of the age range he was supposed to be, and then like really looking at it, it's like it just didn't really fit anymore. For me
Yeah.
personally, I was like, all right, he just seems too old to be
So,
what he's trying to portray, and that's just a
right.
personal nitpick, I guess,
For me,
because of the actor and knowing how old the actor was and who he's trying to be, and it just didn't set right. Versus you have like Tom Holland, who's essentially the age he's trying to portray, or much closer.
so
All right.
for me, it was different, right? Like I believe that Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker that we got on screen. Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man that we got on screen, and Tom Holland is the best all-around Peter and Spider-Man because you, at least for me, like growing up with the comics and then growing up watching the Spider-Man animated series, Tobey Maguire played the Peter Parker role in a believable fashion. He was good in the first Spider-Man movie and in parts of Spider-Man 2, but it wasn't the character that I expected it to be. He wasn't cracking jokes, he wasn't being funny, he wasn't like jumping around all the time. And then you fast forward into the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and you have Andrew Garfield who doesn't play a convincing Peter Parker at all because he's popular. He's cool, he's popular, like nobody picks on him, right? And so it's like he's not believable. But as Spider-Man, every time he's in the suit, every time he's doing anything, he's insulting the bad guys. He's like flipping around, he's doing crazy things to make them look stupid while also beating them, which is very much Peter's personality in the Spider-Man costume. And Tom Holland kind of does both of those things, right? Like he's constantly getting picked on. He's not popular at all. He kind of has to sneak into things and then try to come up with ways to be popular. But then also as Spider-Man, he's making jokes, he's doing things. So it kind of, he's definitely, in my opinion, the best overall, but the other ones have their roles.
So I think with Tom Holland, I think like I said, it's the age, right, and the size. Because he's smaller. Tobey Maguire was an adult
Yeah.
playing a kid. So
And Tom Holland was too. Tom Holland was
Right.
20 or 21 playing a 15-year-old.
right, but
He looked
his
15.
look. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
he does,
looks
but he was
young as
still an
shit.
adult.
But I'm saying, but he looks young as shit. Tobey Maguire wasn't 21. Tobey Maguire was probably damn near 30 when he was playing the role. Right?
I don't know.
So Tobey Maguire, like I said, the first one I thought he was fine, and then to me, just the actor kind of aged out really quick for the role he was playing. But
He was 25 when he filmed Spider-Man. Yeah.
and he just looks older. Like he just looked like, and that also might be the case of people watching movies knowing him from other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you know Tobey Maguire from other things before this, whereas Tom Holland, it's kind of like his first real big push in the mainstream of people knowing him. So you can kind of like he's young, you don't know anything else to really compare him to, and you get that.
Andrew
But
Garfield was 30 when he played Spider-Man for the first time.
But see, Toby though, in the one that recently happened, where all three of them were in the same movie together,
Yeah.
that Tobey Maguire Peter Parker, I feel was like perfect
Agreed.
because he's older, he's more of a vet, like, and he portrayed it, I think, flawlessly at that point. 'Cause
And
he seemed to fit more the proper look and age of what he was supposed to be.
yeah,
Like, I
so
just picture him with a baby strapped to his chest.
Tom Holland was 20 when he played Spider-Man in Captain America: Civil War, and 21 when he played Spider-Man in Spider-Man: Homecoming. But
He
it's just
still
funny.
looks like he's 17 this day. So
Yeah. But Andrew Garfield at 30 years old being Spider-Man is crazy.
But
So-
even then, Andrew Garfield as a person, as an actor, makeup and everything, he looked younger than Toby.
Yeah.
He looked younger. Because I've always pictured Spider-Man being a teenager. So like I said, Toby just really physically appearance aged out of the Spider-Man fast.
Yeah.
No,
So the Spider-Man cartoon is spectacular, correct?
Which one are you talking about?
I haven't
The
seen.
90s one.
The 90s one is just Spider-Man. It's not amazing. It's not spectacular. It's just Spider-Man. And then when that one ended, we got Unlimited Spider-Man or Spider-Man Unlimited for like a half a season before it was canceled.
So Tom Holland is based on Spider-Man Unlimited. Tobey Maguire Tobey Maguire is just Spider-Man, and they don't specify. And then Andrew Garfield is based off of Amazing Spider-Man. So we don't even have a spectacular Spider-Man. However, when you watch the movies, right? Andrew Garfield's first villain is the Lizard.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, that is Spectacular Spider-Man. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but I don't think I don't think they put as much thought into it as you think they do. Because like the Spider-Man that they made with Tobey Maguire wasn't based on the cartoon or anything in particular. It was based off the idea that James Cameron was going to come in and make a Spider-Man movie, but he wanted to use Hydro Man as the villain.
Yeah, it's just Spider-Man.
Yeah, and then Sony was like, "Oh, you're James Cameron. I'm going to let you do it." And then James Cameron's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go do this instead." And they're like, "Well, now we got to figure something out." And so they took the assets that they had been developing. They brought Sam Raimi in, and they're like, "Now we have a Spider-Man movie." Right? But Spider-Man Unlimited was super crappy. That show was absolutely terrible.
But the only reason I say is because, like, if you read the comics for Spider-Man, right? Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, regular Spider-Man, all of their I don't want to say their timelines because it's not timelines, but all of their quote-unquote universes or stories, I guess, you had Black Cat, right? You had, or Mary Jane was the main chick, or Black Cat, what the fuck was her name?
Felicia Hardy?
No, the other one, not Black Cat. Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy.
So you had Gwen Stacy, or you had, Jesus Christ, dude. Gwen Stacy, or you had
Mary Jane. You also had Betty Brant. You also had Felicia Hardy.
But they're all different timelines. So where do they fall with Spectacular, with Amazing? So Amazing Spider-Man.
A lot of thought going into this.
What?
A lot of thought going into this.
There's a lot to think about. That's the problem. I want to say, without Googling, I want to say Amazing Spider-Man is Gwen Stacy and Spectacular is Mary Jane. Am I wrong? Am I reversed?
I couldn't tell you.
To be honest, Tony, I never looked into it that deeply because those characters existed in all the different forms. And Spider-Man... changed, so there were little differences, but it wasn't. I mean, I read it as a kid, so I don't know. I wasn't picking up on the nuances or anything. But
so, Tony, are you trying to say that obviously the characters are in all the different universes, but how important their role is for a different version of Spider-Man?
Yeah. So just case in point. Gwen and the Lizard coincide. Not just in the movie, but they coincide in the comics. Right? So their characters and how things happen and how things transpire, and when Spider-Man, it's in the comic too, when he throws out the webbing to try to save her and he breaks her back.
No. In the comics, that's not how it
goes with the Goblin. It happens to go with the Hobgoblin.
It happens with Hobgoblin, but he doesn't catch her at all. He doesn't get there. She's just dead. Right, by the time he gets the message that he needs to get there and he shows up, there's nothing he can do. Green Goblin drops her and she dies. That's it.
Hobgoblin. I don't think it's a Green Goblin.
It is Green Goblin. It's Norman Osborn specifically.
You should fix your glasses when you correct me. It makes it better.
Green Goblin kills Gwen Stacy in the comics, and so I just looked it up to figure out what was going on. So Amazing Spider-Man, as you said, is the original Spider-Man comic. That was the original. But then Marvel was making so much money with Spider-Man, they wanted to be able to tell other stories. And so what they did was they created an additional monthly comic that followed the same story with the same characters and everything else, but it was like side stories. It wouldn't tackle the main things that were happening. It was like, oh, in Peter's downtime or between this main arc and this main arc, we have this story. They called that comic book, the monthly one, Spectacular Spider-Man, but it's the same universe. And then, what else did they say? They said that the regular Spider-Man comic is usually a spin-off or a modern take on Spider-Man, and those stories are separate from the Amazing Spider-Man narrative, which also encompasses Spectacular Spider-Man. So Amazing and Spectacular are essentially the exact same universe, the exact same characters, and Spider-Man without a title is just like not an Elseworlds, but not like the main continuity.
None of that makes sense to me. So if you have Amazing and Spectacular, I can understand. I can understand the characters intertwining, but if you read the comics, they didn't read like that. It read like Amazing was like, and again, I can't remember who's who, so I'm sorry. So if you read that it was like Amazing, you had, what the fuck is that? Is that Peter Dinklage fighting Spider-Man?
It is. Joe just sent it to me.
Is that Venomized Peter Dinklage?
Damn it, man.
Because he said earlier somebody said earlier they should have Peter Dinklage play Venom. Oh, it was Gustavo. And then Joe just sent me that.
But do you get like you get what I'm saying, Psycho? Like you get
No, I definitely get what you're saying. And like I said, I didn't know, so I looked it up. And from Marvel's the one that said this. So in Marvel Comics, it's they consider Amazing Spider-Man and Spectacular Spider-Man to be Earth 616. And the reason they read differently is because, again, Marvel wanted an additional monthly Spider-Man series that would take place between the major arcs that were occurring in Amazing Spider-Man. But so they were written by different authors and drawn and inked by different people. But it was like, okay, when Spider-Man's not fighting this massive battle with Jackal, right, which takes up 6 months, when he has downtime from that, he's fighting Hobgoblin, he's fighting Lizard, he's fighting, and that's being depicted in Spectacular Spider-Man. So it is the same Peter Parker, the same Gwen Stacy, the same Mary Jane in both of those comic series.
I guess when you say that they read differently, like why would they read differently if they're the same thing though?
Because they're written by different people. So it's like
the main level of importance is pushed on certain characters.
Yes.
Well, I guess you don't hear about Mary Jane in, again, I don't remember which is which, but you don't hear about Mary Jane in Spectacular. You hear about Gwen Stacy. You know what I'm saying? Like they push certain characters more than other people.
Like, so I guess when you're saying like they read differently, like that to me doesn't make sense. Like I understand they're written by different people, so it's different writing style, different this and that. I get that, but you think that they would still want them to like they'd edit them to be like the same. I'm picturing IDW, right? And obviously this is more recent, so maybe things are different. I'm picturing IDW when they do Turtles. They have the main run of Turtle comics, right? 150 books. But then throughout the entire thing, you have all these little side stories that pop up. You know, the Turtles and Ghostbusters. April and Casey have like their own 6 books. Turtles and Power Rangers. And they're all part of that same 150 run. It's just the little side ones that they make extra Turtle content. But they're all the same and everything is affected and I guess they all read the same, but they're written by different people. And maybe they put more into making sure they are flush versus what they used to do. But they all read the same because it's the same story.
Well, it's like watching an Alien movie, right? Like, so look at the first Alien movie. Look at Aliens, right? Like, look at Alien, and then look at Aliens. It's the same universe, right? It's the same, like it's the same Ripley character, but she's portrayed differently, right? It's the same character, and she has the same qualities, but she's portrayed differently. And so, in Spectacular Spider-Man, they were more focused on smaller picture instead of larger picture. So in Amazing Spider-Man, you would have Spider-Man like in these long story arcs where he's battling Norman Osborn or he's battling Kingpin and everything is connected. But then you would move over to Spectacular Spider-Man, you wouldn't get a mention of Osborn, you wouldn't get a mention of Kingpin. He would be dealing with whatever the small scale person is.
Whatever's going on in front of him.
It makes it feel less stressful and impactful because there's not all this other weight carrying the character down. Okay. Right? That's what I meant by read differently.
So
Gotcha.
I just went and looked up. I had to Google it because I'm like I feel stupid. So I go, who was Peter like in love with in Spectacular? Who was Peter in love with in Amazing? It says they both say Gwen Stacy, and I'm like, but if you
Yes.
watch or you read the comics, that's not how it's portrayed. It's one over the other.
No, so it not in continuity, right? Because again, Gwen Stacy was the first one. Mary Jane didn't show up until Gwen Stacy was killed off, right? So if you go all the way back to the original Amazing and Spectacular Spider-Man, you have a lot of Gwen Stacy in both until Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, kills her. And then Peter's got nobody, and it's Aunt May who introduces him to Mary Jane, and there's that famous line, "Face it, Tiger, you just got lucky," or whatever it is that she says. And then from that point on, in both comics, she is the prominent character, right? So it's like before that, there were dalliances with Felicia Hardy and Black Cat, and then Betty Brant, who was the secretary for J. Jonah Jameson at the Daily Bugle. Like, there's all this stuff going on, but then once it was Mary Jane, it was Mary Jane.
So that is probably why I prefer Andrew Garfield. I like his character on both levels. I think it should have cut his hair, but I like his character on both levels as both Peter,
You sound like such a father from the '60s.
as Peter and as Spider-Man. I like the attitude, the way he handles himself in the movie. I like that Sally Field is his Aunt May, because I'd Sally her Field all day. And so I think, listen, I'd Smokey her Bandit, but in any case, I enjoyed his character, and he reminds me, the way he operates reminds me very, very much of the personality of wise-ass Spider-Man.
That's what I said. As Spider-Man, he was great. I have to disagree with you as Peter Parker, because there was nothing nerdy about him. There was nothing that made you think that he was picked on or ostracized or wasn't part of a group. Like, he had a huge friends group. He skateboarded in the halls of the school, right? Like Peter Parker would never do that in the comic books. He played basketball. He dunked, right? Like, this is a Peter Parker who does like a flamboyant spin around dunk that breaks the rim. Like, that is not a Peter Parker move. And so that bothered me. But what also bothered me was I thought that movie was just terrible, right? There was no
Elizabeth!
First of all,
Come to
it's
join
better
you,
than
honey.
Spider-Man 3, right? But that shit with Venom was fucking horrible. It was better than that.
no, it absolutely was not.
What?
It absolutely was not.
Can we take a poll
Spider-Man
where
3
he's
is
wrong?
trash. It's the black sheep of the
Look,
fucking
you
franchise.
can say that, and I'm not telling you Spider-Man 3 was a good movie, but I am telling you the Spider-Man 3 was better, narratively speaking, than Amazing Spider-Man 1. The
So-
movie had no idea what it was doing. It tried to jam a bunch of stuff together. It forgot its own plot points, right? But then not to mention, you have these powerful moments that are available to the character, and they waste them, right? So look at what happened in Spider-Man, in the first Spider-Man, or the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, right? It starts off by telling you that Peter lost both of his parents. They died. Then he's trying to discover what happens to them. He does discover what happens to them, so it's like they die all over again. Okay? Then his mentor in the movie is Kurt Connors, which is something that happens in the comics.
Cobain,
and,
yeah.
And he has Dr. Connors. He becomes the Lizard. He ends up having to fight him, and he loses that mentor. Partway through the movie, Gwen Stacy's father is introduced, Captain Stacy, right? And
Yep.
you begin to have that
It's
bond.
cool.
You begin to have that bond between Peter and Captain Stacy. At first it was cold, but then they begin to kind of bond and they start to get along and they understand one another. And they're setting up Captain Stacy to be this mentor figure for Peter because he needs that, right? And then in the last 10 minutes of the movie, they kill him, and they do a throwaway kill. It's not even impactful because there's a fight going on, so you can't even spend time with that death. Whereas if they were smart and if the writers knew what they were doing, they knew they were going to get a sequel because 3 had already been signed for, and then they could have killed Captain Stacy at the beginning of the second one, and then Peter would have had to wrestle with that death throughout the entire film. But instead, you take a character that you spent the movie building up to kill him off in the last 10 minutes of film to give him no screen time for the resolution between the resolution between the emotions, right? Like Peter didn't have time on screen to deal with that. And when the start of the second movie happens, he mentions Captain Stacy, but it's not as impactful as it should be. The only message that we get from Captain Stacy is, oh, well, he made me promise not to date Gwen anymore. It's like, cool, but what about all the other stuff, right? And so that movie, again, in my opinion, narratively was a complete mess. The writers had no idea what they wanted to do, and they were just throwing things out to see what stuck because they had to be different than the first trilogy.
And I enjoyed the hell out of it.
It had cool moments, but overall, it was not a better film.
I gotta tell you, John, I love your insight on so many things because I get heated about it, and it makes it fun.
The third movie with fucking Tobey Maguire was like not enjoyable. Like there was just so much wrong. Like no.
Can I go back and tell John he's wrong? So anyway,
absolutely, please, because he tries to act like he just knows it all.
This is fucking Mega Man 6 all day. So.
But even Tim fucking agrees that Toby's was absolutely terrible. And then I'm gonna say,
but Tim thinks that
I said the third movie wasn't very good. I just said it was better than Amazing Spider-Man.
So Tony, before you go on and correct him, I just want to say this, Tim. We've had you on like video calls before, like for different things, like our gift, our Santa.
Right, Christmas. We've seen his bedspread. It's absolutely shameful.
But he doesn't fucking speak. He just sits there, stares at the camera, and doesn't fucking talk, except for like little one-liners. Tim, if you talk like you're typing, we can bring you on the fucking show. Like, Jesus Christ. Go ahead, Tony.
Thank you. So, so I understand what you're saying. I do. I really do. But I think that the movie could have been longer, and they could have... Look, if you're going to dive into the Lizard, which there are certain characters, there's a reason they don't put them in movies, right? Because that character is so involved, you can't do it any justice in an hour and a half or even 2 hours. What? Whatever.
He's
so you can't do it any justice, right, in an hour and a half or 2 hours. That's kind of how they fucked up Venom in the Tobey Maguire movies. They could not... Don't make that face. They can't fix your face for a minute. They can't give that character the time it deserved. They gave too much insight on Toby, and which they should have been like, it should have been a 2-part movie where it should have been, this is Toby, he gets the black Spider-Man suit, he does all these crazy things, and then maybe at the end of that movie, they hype it up and say, he's like, maybe he's standing there, he's like, I gotta get this off me, and he's like, I have to be myself, whatever they do. Yeah. And they stop it. Now you make another movie where it's all about him fighting and being tormented by the whole Venom saga.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They tried to squeeze it into one movie, which fucked it up. That's why I don't think it went over well.
I think it's more than that, right? Like, again, I'm not saying Spider-Man 3
would never be what I said. It's got to be more than that.
No.
Everything's different, too. You'll learn that. You can have the most valid point. You can have
goddamn psycho bastards always got something else.
So you can have the spreadsheet of proof validating everything you say, and psychos will be like, I don't agree. It's different. And you can be like,
I know they said it's this, but no.
No, sir, you said this, and I said this, the exact same thing. No, it's different.
In ancient Greece, we didn't have Spider-Man. Here's what happened.
He doesn't want to be wrong.
To clarify, I am not saying Spider-Man 3 was a good movie. There was a lot wrong with it, right?
Trash.
I'm just saying, in my opinion, it was better than the other one. But I agree with everything Tony said about Venom, except I think it's also more. Right? Because it's everything that Tony said, but it's also the fact that the things that played on that played off on that didn't play off on screen, right? So like Sony wanted Venom. Sam Raimi didn't want Venom. Sony's like, this is our movie, you're going to put him in. So he puts him in, and he's trying to tell the story he wants. And then Sony came in and was like, no, we want you to do essentially a live-action version of the Venom we saw in the cartoon show. and I think because you're a big Spider-Man fan, Tony, you're probably going to agree with this, and at least, I mean, I agree with it. But most people think that the origin story that we got of Venom in that '90s cartoon show is the best one. Like that is the one that most people think is the best
cool,
one.
but no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's like that was the issue, right? It's like Sony's like, this is how you're going to do it, and then Sam Raimi's like, he pulled an Alien 3. He's like, cool. I'll just do whatever the hell I want. I don't care what you think.
So
Alien 3 was so bad.
all right, so Venom.
Tony likes it. He's wrong though.
I don't want to go off on Venom, man, because he's his whole other thing. I'm sticking to the Spider-Man thing. We could probably attack Venom another time, but so with this whole Spider-Man thing, so we're watching that movie, and like I said, they should have just done. This is Peter. He comes in, however they want to say he got it, comes in contact with the symbiote, and does the whole Black Spider-Man thing. That came out wrong. Becomes Black Spider-Man.
Symbiote Spider.
Driving
Symbiote
around a car on
Spider-Man.
big rims,
Black
and so.
Let's not get canceled, please. That would be great.
No, it's fine. You haven't been on ours recently, so
Tony's like, it's fine. This isn't drinks and toys.
it's fine. Yeah, it's not drinks and toys. So I think we had I think it could have been really good if they'd just spent more time explaining the symbiote, how it makes Peter Parker different, Spider-Man different, and make that the story. He could fight somebody, but they could have done Shocker. He could have fought Shocker or anybody and just called that at the end of the thing. And it's like, maybe they end it with he's standing there like reflecting on like, what have I become? And then that's it. Credits. And the next movie is he's doing shit he didn't think he would do. He finally gets the suit off, and now he's got to deal with Venom. And that could have been its own movie. They could have done 4 movies, and it would have been fantastic. Would have ended the series properly. When they did Andrew Garfield, I think they did an awesome job of going back to the roots. They brought the Lizard in right off the rip. I think the story was fantastic. He's friends with the Lizard. He understands before, right? Dr. Connors or whatever. He understands him. The whole thing makes sense. He's got Gwen. He's got Gwen's dad. The story went great. Then you get to the end, and it's moving too fast. It's almost like we have so much we want to cover and not enough time in this movie. Okay, add a half hour. The movie was already great. It captivated you from start to finish. Give me an extra half hour. End it as a good movie. And then you could have gone on to a second movie with whoever the hell you wanted to. The Rhino, the Goblin, whatever. Hobgoblin would have been cool.
And both of them were terrible in the movie. You have a mechanical Rhino. You have a Green Goblin that just looks weird for no reason.
So absolutely atrocious. And then if you saw, what the hell was the movie we just saw, and they were amazing in it. Oh, I just saw. Fucking help me. Who's the guy? Oh my God, he's trying to hunt. He hunts Peter.
Craven.
Thank you. Craven has his own movie.
Which
we talked about. I enjoyed that. I liked Craven.
I haven't seen it.
So look, you had to take it for what it is. It's about Craven. It's not a Spider-Man movie.
Bro.
But during the movie, they have the guy who plays the Rhino. Now, the story, they just wrote a story. That's not the Rhino story. They just wrote a story for a guy and said that's the Rhino.
And they just wrote a story for the Craven guy and that said that's Craven.
You're right. I get it.
Have you read the comic though?
Yes, but I do think the Rhino himself was a great adaptation of who the Rhino should be. So the way he because in the fucking comic it's just a dude in a Rhino costume and he's a
which
big
makes
badass.
him super strong and everything. Yeah.
Right, but they actually created the character, and I think they did a great job with that. You go ahead. I'm good.
So I was just curious if you'd read the recent comics with Craven where he teams up with Predators.
No, that sounds terrible.
It makes sense. If anybody's gonna team up with the fucking Predator, it's Craven.
Tony, I am curious what origin story you think is best for Venom. I mean, we don't have a lot of them, so it's not like
we're gonna get back to that Venom's not from space. Is this where we're gonna?
Well, he's from somewhere. So you have the one where
he's from space.
You have the one where he's brought down from space on the spaceship by Jonah Jameson's son, which was
That's
in
the cartoon. That's
yeah,
the
the
cartoon
cartoon.
version. Yeah.
You have the one where he's just an alien entity, and he how was it? Fuck, I'm trying to think.
You have the one for what, Secret Wars, where he's just in the machine,
Alien.
put
Yeah,
on
he's
Peter.
he's imprisoned in, yeah, he's imprisoned in a machine, and then he thinks it's a clothing machine, and it gets on him, and that's what happens in Secret Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like in a vial or something. What the fuck?
And then you have Ultimate Spider-Man, where he was a cure for cancer. He was being developed as a cure for cancer with Eddie Brock's father and Spider-Man's father.
That I don't.
That's
I never
hard.
watched that. I never read those. I don't know that. So
Yeah, it was a suit that was supposed to cure cancer, but it cured cancer, but it also like took you over, and like made you bloodthirsty. And
so is that the Venom who's also
don't-
like looks like a bounty hunter, but it's a Venom costume?
No,
That's not his origin.
So when that happened with that story where he was a cure for cancer, was he at that point
The fuck is he?
an anti-hero, or was he just a villain?
he was just a villain.
Okay.
Like Venom always starts as just a villain and then becomes an anti-hero, but
I'm just thinking about the idea that if he was to fight cancer, it's like they developed it to like eat cancer cells, but then like it takes over and now it's eating like the cancer of humanity. Like all the bad people. It's like, I'll eat these cancers instead.
the coolest thing about the Ultimate Spider-Man version of Venom was that he started as this like hulking monster. He didn't have to build up to being that. He started as that.
Ah, there it is. He's right. The Agent Venom. He's right. That's what I was referring to. So I do not like. I do not like this. What?
Where he's like a Punisher clone.
Yeah, that's what he looks like. I don't like the small adaptation of Venom. I love everything where Venom, like I love with the comic books where they draw him so oversized and ridiculous that he's overpowering, because that's what I liked about that character.
Because he's supposed to be a threat to Peter Parker. He's supposed to be
he was a threat and he was a brute to Peter Parker because he knew everything Peter knew. Because the symbiote had shared both their things or whatever. And so I think that's cool. But then you had Carnage, which Carnage is by far my favorite symbiote of all time. For a whole bunch of different reasons. But Carnage was like that insanity part of a symbiote that took over and went, we're not just symbiote, we're taking everybody out. And that's where Carnage came into play, and that's why I fucking love that character. And he's, you can't see it, but right there.
mud.
Yeah.
I wish
know,
there was more with Carnage.
The next Spider-Man game is supposed to have a focus on Carnage. Allegedly, they're currently making a Venom game, and Venom is going to have Carnage in it. And then when they do Spider-Man 3, Carnage is going to be a huge part of Spider-Man 3, because he's introduced in Spider-Man 2 in the Spider-Man 2 game.
So in the Venom 2, let's call it Venom 2, right? The Venom 2 movie, Let There Be Carnage.
Let There Be Carnage, yeah.
I want to tell you, other than, I guess she's supposed to be Shriek or whatever the hell her name is, right? But she's not a symbiote. Shriek was a symbiote. So who is she?
It's damn, what is?
But it's not true to the comics because I don't know her.
No, she is true to the comics. She's from the Maximum Carnage storyline. God damn it, what's her name?
Who knows? I don't know. It's like
Siren?
No, it's not Siren. Oh man, it is a comic book character. I'm gonna have to look it up because it's gonna drive me crazy.
I mean, people shit on those movies, but like I enjoyed them for what they were. I enjoyed the watching.
Shriek. Yeah. But what is she? Like,
but what is she?
Comic book character. I'm just trying to find out who she was.
She's a mutant, apparently.
They just label her as a supervillain, not anything else. Oh, she is the lover of Cletus Cassidy. Okay. So she is Carnage's. She is a mutant. He's right. Yeah. So that's right. So she is a mutant. She's not a symbiote, and she is the lover of of Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah, in the comics, Shriek was in the asylum with Cletus Cassidy, and he breaks her out because they're in love.
So the fucked up thing is in the animated series back in the day, right? The old Spider-Man animated series.
You talk about the one from the '90s or the one?
Yeah. The '90s, yeah. So Cletus Cassidy, Francis is her name. Shut up, dude. So Cletus Cassidy,
How dare you
doesn't
tell me what
bite
it
Eddie.
is?
You know what I mean? It's not like that. That's not how he gets his thing. He actually makes a pact with this entity Dormammu, this like demon supervillain entity, and he goes, "Oh well, I've got this symbiote that I took from wherever, and I'm gonna infuse you with that." And so Cletus Cassidy takes on Carnage and goes, "Oh, this is great. I love the way I feel. I'm gonna kill everybody." Sends him on his way. I love how John's like,
Yeah, because that's not what I remember. I mean, you could be right. I don't know.
Well, John has a habit of remembering things in the way he wants to remember things.
well, he hasn't fixed his glasses yet, so I'm gonna assume I was right.
Well, I'm reading.
Ah,
That's great for a podcast.
hence the glasses. Oh shit! He wiped his mouth.
That's what when he starts doing that, he's thinking, like he's like processing.
He's like,
and
"How
trying
can I
to
turn
figure
this
out a way
around so
to
I'm correct
be
about
right.
something?"
So now, if Shriek was a mutant, but was she a mutant in the movie?
No, well, I guess yes. I guess technically yes, because in the movie, they don't explain anything in Let There Be Carnage because they don't care about her.
Right.
She's just the girlfriend, and so she has this ability where she can scream and explode out everything, but they never call her a mutant. They just say
but
it's just, hey, she's fucking nuts.
now, is that part of the? I know it's not MCU because it's the Spider-Man universe versus Peter Parker's like part of the MCU type of thing.
Right.
But would she be the first mutant that we had?
No.
In
Who
what?
else?
The first mutant we have in what?
Like overall, you mean?
Since MCU came around, right?
No,
I mean,
you mean
that
the
would-
first recognized mutant?
Yeah, because who would be the mutant?
The first recognized mutant would be Deadpool.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of Deadpool in that universe because he was
Yeah,
never
'cause-
tied to that universe until recently. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He was like in his own thing.
Yes.
Versus Spider-Man is like kind of tied still with those movies.
So does anybody find that odd that that Deadpool's like the first mutant, and then it's like all of a sudden he knows who Wolverine and all those people are?
Well, and that's they kind of explain that in Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Like Deadpool broke into the TVA, and that's how he discovered the Avengers. So it is the Deadpool from the Fox mutant universe, and then he was the first. Technically, he is the first mutant in the MCU.
That would have been my thought too.
But it was explained that they weren't mutants though, that they were made to do that. Like they were I forgot the process, but they weren't mutants. They were
Miracles. They were called
experiments.
miracles.
Isn't Quicksilver a Please stop me because I don't know shit about this. Is not Quicksilver a derivative from Galactus? Didn't Galactus create Quicksilver?
No, Wanda and Quicksilver were Magneto's kids. If I remember
In the
correctly.
comics, yes. And in the TV or in the MCU, they were experimented on with Loki's staff.
Yeah,
I am thinking of the Silver Surfer, and I'm sorry.
you are.
Silver Surfer was Galactus, right? Didn't Galactus create him?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so because just like Tim said, they were called enhanced, but like John said, they were experimented on with was Loki's staff. So they weren't born mutants; they were given their powers due to experiments.
Okay,
So-
I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong.
That's why I said Deadpool. I never until recently, obviously, when they've really been pushing him to be part of the MCU. The first Deadpool movies, I never considered him MCU. He was just his own thing. Just like when they were, still doing the X-Men First Class movies, like it's their own thing. They're not part of the MCU at all. Like that's their own world.
Well,
So with that thought, Shriek would be the first mutant, just not recognized or mentioned as a mutant, but she would be the first mutant.
so that is possible. But back
But
to your
why
Deadpool
would
thing.
she be the first mutant?
Who else would there
Hold on,
be?
hold on. Back to your Deadpool comment. The first Deadpool movie, he recognizes. So this has to be after the fact, right? Because he tries to tell his origin story.
Right.
But the first time he interacts with what the fuck is his name? Not Ajax. What is
Colossus?
his name?
Colossus.
What?
You talking about the villain?
Yeah, what's the bad guy's name?
His name was Ajax.
Francis. So the first time he interacts with Francis on the bridge,
Yes.
right? That's when the X-Men show up.
Yep.
Ish. He mentions about Wolverine. How would he know about any of those characters if that universe didn't already exist?
So
Because
here's the thing.
The universe
He
does
breaks
exist.
the fourth fucking wall. He's Deadpool. He knows
on.
everything.
Good.
But like you gotta remember, like he knows about it because he wants to join them in the first movie, like his dream, right? But that's his whole. That's what people really start liking about him. That he breaks the fourth wall. He knows he's a comic book character, or in this where he knows he's a movie character. Like he knows that shit, but he's not part of the MCU. He's not like. He's not at that time. I mean, am I mistaken? Like he knows, like in the comics, he talks to the people drawing him.
Yeah, so the
Like-
X-Men are not in the MCU, and yes, in the comics, Deadpool talks to the artist, right?
He knows
So-
he's a comic book character.
Yeah.
He knows.
But in the
Everybody.
movies, he exists in the same universe as Fox's X-Men. And in the first movie, they tell you those X-Men are out on a mission, right? And so he says, like, I got the B team, I got Colossus, and I got Teenage Warhead or whatever her name is. Negasonic
I've
Teenage
never heard of her
Warhead.
in my life, by the way.
She's one of the new X-Men, but she is a comic character. But so...
But she wasn't MCU though. She had her own TV show.
Is she the one with the huge tits?
No, she's like a child almost.
Oh, it's not the. All right, never mind. I'm thinking of.
All right,
Who's a DC chick with the big, huge tits?
Power Girl.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah,
She's like, I'm
so
here to stop you. Really?
I don't think we'll see what happens. People are speculating that Kamala Khan is going to be the first mutant in the MCU.
First recognized mutant by the MCU.
But I don't think that's accurate. They already explained that she got her powers from the bands, those bangles that she wears. They're part of her family heritage.
You mean slap bracelets?
Huh?
I was like, because that's what I thought it was the slap bracelets.
The bangles,
Right.
yeah. She put
Yeah.
both when she got both of them on. It gave her full powers. So
But then Namor is not a mutant. He's an Atlantean.
she wasn't the mutant from the Doctor Strange multiverse movie. That was America Chavez. And she wasn't a mutant. She was an alien.
Fix your
Yeah.
glasses.
What's wrong with my
There's
glasses?
no validity if you don't go.
That's but like,
God damn it.
when
When you're right, you
Like
fix
the-
your glasses. Damn it.
Gundam said it, it's followed by Namor, but Namor was Atlantean. He's not a mutant. He's an Atlantean, right?
Yeah. And again, they've been purposefully vague about this. Like in the comics, Namor is a mutant. In the comics, Kamala Khan, well, in the original comics, Kamala Khan was exposed to the crystal Terrigen or whatever, and she got powers. Some other people got powers, but then other people died because of the exposure. But the MCU has been purposefully vague about the origins of a lot of characters.
Word mutant.
I thought she's
They
the chick
could-
that ran with like Joe Biden.
No, Jesus Christ, Tony. So yeah,
Is that too political? Sorry.
but yeah,
So-
so they've reworded them to be different things. Like Namor is now an Atlantean to make them not be mutants because they couldn't use the term mutant due to copyright with Fox, right? Because of X-Men. So that's what I'm saying. So it seems like but even Shriek, because they don't mention her as being a mutant, but there's no backstory as to how she.
But
has
Shriek
powers.
isn't part of the MCU.
But she's the closest thing to the MCU versus anything else, right? Because she's part of Venom. Then that's part of Spider-Man, who is MCU. Different.
Well, I mean, technically, Venom
now
is not
Venom's
part
been
of.
in the MCU for like a split
Yes.
second, so like it's kind of all. It's like 1 degree of MCU. Right?
Well, so it's weird because they wanted us to believe that Venom popped into the MCU, but then in the last Venom movie, he didn't pop into the MCU, right? Like because everybody speculated that when he popped into the MCU, that little piece of symbiote came off of him, and that was what was going to create Venom. But then we find out that he left that piece of symbiote in his own universe at the bar, and it was very ambiguous of what actually happened, and I think it was because they didn't want to tie all of that together when it came down to it. Because that's what everybody thought. It's like, oh, he popped in like in the last Spider-Man movie, and he's, that's going to be Venom. But then when they did Venom 3, The Last Dance, it turns out that little piece of symbiote was actually in Eddie's universe all along. Like it never actually was in the MCU. So I don't know what happened with that.
I thought it was in the MCU.
That was a shit movie, by the way.
Because the guy, the government guy who's played by the guy who plays Baron Mordo in the MCU doesn't leave his universe. He shows up to the bar and he catches the little piece of symbiote that came off of Eddie Brock. So it's like that piece of symbiote was in his universe the whole time.
Then where'd he get zapped to?
That nobody knows because it doesn't make sense. The way that they showed it in the Spider-Man movie, it made it seem like he got brought into the MCU and left the symbiote behind. But then in Venom's movie, they show you that didn't happen at all. So you don't know.
Don't we see Venom seeing Peter Parker?
Yes, in the Spider-Man movie.
Yes, but it's like an end credit kind of like teaser thing.
Yes,
right. That's what I'm saying. But so that's what I'm saying.
Like,
awesome. To me, obviously, it's not official MCU, but like I say, it's 1 degree of MCU. Like
so,
right there.
But then I want to add to that
versus X-Men.
So it felt like Fox tried to retcon that in the last Venom movie. They're like, oh, no, we don't want you to think that that's what was happening.
So I kind of want to add to that. So it's kind of weird that Eddie and Venom, right, are watching whatever in Costa Rica, wherever the fuck they are, and they're watching this video, but it's the Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yes.
Right.
It's not Garfield or Maguire, which it should have been one of them, not
It should have been Garfield. And that would have led into him getting a third movie, and that's what it should have been. And so people speculated that would happen.
It's so fucking weird. It went to Holland, and then I love when they're sitting there and like he's not. Venom doesn't go straight to rage. He just goes, "I know this person," right? Like he has that unconscious connection. And why should I be intrigued by him? And why do I want to be part of him or with him or around him?
But
I think that was fucking cool the way they did that. But I needed them to do that with somebody other than Holland because Holland doesn't make sense.
Well, it doesn't that solidify that he was because that's when after the zap happened, he was transferred somewhere else where he would have been in the MCU. That's why he saw Tom Holland. And that's why he got zapped back, leaving that little piece. And then John said like, "Oh, this one character hasn't been in the MCU. He's only in that universe, and he traps it." But as we've seen, you can have the variants, the same people doing the same type of job in the different dimensions, right? So
yes, but they pick up specifically from that scene. I think it was because everybody was making this huge deal. Oh man, Venom's coming to the MCU. He's going to be there because again, he's watching Tom Holland's Spider-Man and he's at the bar and then he leaves the piece of symbiote there. But the third Venom movie when it starts, it has him at that same bar and then the government guy who's in the entire movie shows up at the bar to try to capture Eddie.
Maybe this is why. Maybe I can see Venom 3. Maybe that's why I'm like confused. Which one had Woody Harrelson?
I'm sorry?
Which one had Woody Harrelson? That was 2, right?
That was 2.
Yep, 2.
Maybe I haven't seen 3.
Yeah, so the very beginning of the third Venom movie has him back at that bar in his own universe, and that's where that symbiote piece was left. And then the government shows up and captures it in a special container, and then you find out later in the movie that there's like hundreds of symbiotes that the government already has, and everybody's just getting symbiote powers. It's crazy.
Huh. Maybe I did see that. Because I remember the symbiotes, like they're like in tubes, right?
Yes.
And then like like one of the women working there is like security or some shit. She like breaks open one of them and she becomes a symbiote.
Yes, that was part 3. But again,
Okay, so
the beginning of that movie shows them at the bar, and the piece that was left allegedly in the MCU actually ends up only being left in his own universe.
Oh, that's right. And they were fighting Cole or some shit, right?
Yeah. No.
Okay, yeah, so I did see it.
Yeah. So
I don't remember that.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the MCU does going forward, because
I agree.
the new Avengers movie is going to actually bring mutants in. And so it'll be interesting what they say, because in the comics, Kamala Khan is a mutant. Right? Now she's a mutant. They retconned her Terrigen Mist thing to being a mutant, but in the shows, they don't call her a mutant. Her power comes from the Bengals, and it was hereditary.
So I wonder if when they officially bring in mutant and can use mutant, if they're going to try to retcon all of that as misunderstandings of what it is, and then have her show what the real history of what the powers type of thing.
Yeah, and so that's why I was saying it'll be interesting to see, because the first realized mutant we ever got in the MCU was Patrick Stewart, right? When Scarlet Witch goes to the other universe and kills Professor X in his mind, which frustrated the hell out of me.
That's right. I forgot about, but that was even.
It was a different universe. It was part of the multiverse, and they never used the word mutant. But that was the first mutant we saw on screen.
No, but that was in Doctor Strange, right?
Yes.
Okay, then there you go. That would be it. Patrick Stewart.
The one Doctor Strange movie,
but no.
The second Doctor Strange movie, the Multiverse of Madness.
I only saw the first one. I'm sorry.
Oh, bro, that was. It wasn't people try to push off like, oh, it's a horror movie. Like there's some horror-esque elements to that movie. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it.
There's some stupid elements to that movie too, like when Scarlet Witch kills Professor X, which makes no sense at all.
Well, I guess I won't watch it now.
No, watch that shit.
Wait.
She kills a lot of people.
Yeah,
that was my favorite.
It's crazy the people that she killed, because it makes actually no sense at all. But
well, because it's a different Professor X, essentially.
So unpopular, but
I mean,
as much as I love Venom, does anybody think it's kind of like stupid that they kept like taking Venom and making him do all this comedic shit?
In the movies?
Yes.
Yes. He wasn't as dark.
Funny, but I don't understand why they do it.
He wasn't as dark as he should have been. And I have the same opinion of the Venom movies that I have of the 2016 Ghostbuster movie. They're terrible Venom movies, but they're not terrible movies. Because in my opinion, you cannot have Venom without Spider-Man. If you do, then none of his abilities make any sense at all.
So I think the Ghostbusters movie, if we're transitioning a little bit, that shit was fucking hilarious. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
Now, is it
Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters?
It's not a good Ghostbusters movie.
I'm getting there. Is it? Hold on. Is it a Ghostbusters movie? Not really. It's chicks who watch the Ghostbusters as their kids and are trying to be Ghostbusters, but it's not a Ghostbusters movie.
No. Yes. No. So, Ghostbusters. Psycho and I have discussed this before. The biggest issue with the Ghostbusters movie is that they tried to redo Ghostbusters, right?
100%.
There's no need to redo the original Ghostbusters. There just wasn't a need for that. They could have fixed because everybody hated that movie as soon as they cast it. Oh, it's Ghostbusters. And it's women. People bashed the shit out of it, firebombed it right away, right?
That's because people are stupid.
That's exactly. But
Yes.
if they had just done it as kind of what they're doing now with the movies and just had those the Lady Ghostbusters be Chicago and is their own franchise that they bought to franchise out Ghostbusters, and just their own story, it would have been perfectly fine.
Yep.
People would have still been pissed off and hated it, but
They
it would have
tried to
just made-
reinvent the origin.
There's no need for that. Like, just have
Right.
it be the franchise, different story of people, but it's tied to that same universe. But no, they're like, oh, we're just gonna make our own thing, and just bite off, and that was the downfall. If they just did that.
The
like
movie was great.
Chicago,
Yeah.
it would have been great.
The movie was very good. It just was not a good Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah.
And I agree with everything Chris said. Chicago, San Francisco, you could put it in Miami, Louisiana. I don't care where you put it. It's just out of New York, right? Like, because there was like, you have to go into any movie like that with a willingness to suspend disbelief,
Damn it, John.
right? But the problem is, for me anyway, you act like the Ghostbusters didn't exist, but then why is it still called Ghostbusters? Why is the logo the same? Why do you call all the weapons the same thing? Like, how is that? How does that work? Right? Just
So you
say
can
it's
sit there and say if you want to go, and they explain more of that in the comics, the interdimensional cross rip where they all come together, the different dimensions. Like, okay, but in the movie form, it doesn't make sense.
just say
They're just
Ghostbusters
the
San
first movie.
Francisco. We're good.
Yeah, no, and it would have been fine. Been a lot less hate. There's still been hate because it was all women, but it would have been less hate.
Well, it's like the 2010 Karate Kid movie. Just name it Kung Fu Kid and be done with it.
It's so bad.
Don't call it Karate Kid.
That
You don't
was
need
so
to do
bad.
that. Literally everywhere else in the world, they called the movie Kung Fu Kid. Here in America, they're like, hey, let's just say it's a remake of Karate Kid. It was
That's
dumb.
the Turtles 3 of Kung Fu movies.
What's this Turtles 3 you speak of?
Ah.
I mean, I've got figures for it. They were like, it's an unreleased movie. It's weird.
Yeah, I thought they were prototypes, though, right? Like, they were talking about making a third movie, but then they're like, man, this would be terrible, so we're not going to do it. The same thing happened with Beverly Hills Cop 3. They're like, hey, we're going to make this movie, but they're like, this doesn't sound like a good idea. We're not going to do it.
It's
He
almost
has
like
not
when
fixed
they
his
did.
glasses at any point.
It seems just like what happened when they did Venom 2 and they made him part of the MCU, but then Disney's like, no, we're not having that. Take that shit back, and they had to fix it in front of Venom 3.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Craziness.
Oh,
Jesus
man.
Christ on a cracker.
So I'm looking at the time here, guys. We're at the 10:30 mark. I think we're gonna wind it off and
Are we
shut
now?
down for the night.
I want to ask Tony a quick question.
Actually,
I wouldn't do that.
Since you are a big Spider-Man fan, Tony, I'm curious.
I was gonna kick you out if you brought up Mega Man.
No.
Drop your ass.
No.
That's a whole other cast.
No. I am curious. Like, so for me personally, my favorite alternate version of Spider-Man is Scarlet Spider, and I'm curious like what your opinions on that character are. Like, I love Ben Reilly and Scarlet Spider, and I wish that we would get a movie where it showed that, but I don't think we ever will.
So for me, it's always been Spider-Man 2099.
Okay.
I love that he is so dark. He does not adapt to the how do I put this? He is like if I took Venom and Batman and made Spider-Man.
Okay, I get that.
Because he's got a lot of shit. He's dealing with a lot of baggage.
Yes.
And so he also has that like weird thing where he can, if he doesn't chill, he can turn into like almost like the who the hell is the spider? What's eight-legged spider? Like it's the guy, the Spider Beast or whatever it is. Like the
Okay.
Man
You know what I'm
Spider.
talking
Man
about?
Spider, yeah.
Yeah, Man Spider. Sorry. So like he has this thing where like if he doesn't like calm down, he gets like the fangs. He gets crazy.
Yeah.
But he's a great character, and that's one of the best comics I've ever owned and ever read after regular Spider-Man.
Are you a fan of the original Spider-Man 2099 design or the more modern take on him where he's big and hulking like Venom?
No,
Because
I
originally
want
he-
the one where it's literally like if you took Peter Parker and put him in a 2099 costume.
Okay, yeah, I thought that one was cool. I don't like how now they make him like this giant beast character. It just
Well, they evolved this character not in the right way, but they evolved this character.
yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, I've never been super partial to Spider-Man 2099, but I see why you like him. He is a good character. He just never like. There's just something about it for me. It's not. I don't know.
So when you watch Into the Spider-Verse, he's the main guy who's articulating everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he's a badass. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they ruined Scarlet Spider
weird.
in that movie. I hate them for that.
But I will say, with that movie, the best part for me was they were like, "Stop Spider-Man." Everyone went. That was awesome. It was so fucking hilarious.
So,
Anyway,
all right. Any more questions for Tony on Spider-Man?
you're good, man. You can wrap it up. Go for it.
So, Tony, do you want to plug anything for next week? Drinks,
Well,
boys?
yeah. So,
Always
yeah, guys.
Plug
Next
that
Tuesday,
hole.
of course, as always, drinks and toys come out. We're gonna talk about whatever we talked about, old vintage shit that came up in like movies, which is kind of cool. I
then we
don't know
talk
about this
movies.
Tuesday. What's up?
And then we talked movies.
And then we move on to movies. It was weird, but we'll talk about toys. Fuck it, you guys. I hope to see you. But go
Okay.
ahead, Louise.
So next week, Collector's Hideout. Tony and I, we announced it on the past Drinks and
Oh
Toys.
shit, Weiss, you just made me think about it. I will be in North Carolina, so I'm gonna have to log on from my laptop for work.
I mean, if you're down, we can hold off.
I'm in. I won't
Okay.
bail on you. I'm in.
Cool.
Oh shit!
So-
I forgot about that.
So next week's episode of Collector's Hideout, we are going to discuss Little Shops of Horror or horrors. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. Tony, I know you're gonna watch it this weekend with your daughter. I'm gonna watch it this weekend, and then we're gonna have the whole episode. We're just gonna, well, hopefully the whole episode. If not, we'll go off into other random shit. But we're gonna discuss the movie, what we love, and how it's different from what we remember. Because, like I said, I haven't seen it since I was a child. So we're gonna do that, and I want to try doing episodes like that periodically, just for random movies that we don't never seen or haven't seen in a long time that we want to revisit and give a different view of what we saw versus what we originally saw. So that's gonna be next week. Psycho, if you're down to attempt to do that, but you have to watch the movie. It can't be like, I'm gonna talk my opinion based off of what I saw 17 years ago. No, you have
No,
to
I mean,
watch
I
the shit.
actually watched the movie relatively more recently than that, but
10 years ago. You have to
no,
watch.
no,
this
because
weekend.
Jen and I actually went to the Broadway show of Little Shop of Horrors like right before we moved up to our new place, and then after we did that, we watched the movie
Okay, but still,
just to
watch
kind
it
of
and
see what was similar and not. So
If you want to be part of the show, watch it this weekend so it's fresh in your goddamn mind. All right. And then I encourage people in the chat. The fuck send you a link to what? I don't know what fucking I'd say he took one too many karate chops to
I
the
have
head.
to pee. Can I log off? I gotta
You can
piss.
get out of here, man. You can go if you want.
Thank you guys.
He said
I'll see
something
you guys
about cakes.
Tuesday.
All right, man.
I'm out.
So, Psycho, yeah, if you want in, yeah, watch it. If the chat wants to be part of the conversation, everybody, I advise the same thing. Watch it with fresh eyes this weekend, so we have a good guy. I think a good conversation, and if it goes successful, I'm down for getting opinions or recommendations from anybody on movies that we've never seen or haven't seen or we want to discuss, and maybe do like a once a month episode type of thing like this. And I think it would be fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Tony didn't say no capes.
Yeah, he doesn't say that on this shit because it's fucking weird. But yeah, so thanks for everybody for joining us, for coming out, watching. I know we had a few different people in the chat, sounding off. Fucking love it when the chat gets going. It's great. So till Drinks and Toys, I guess we'll see you then. Psycho, man, thanks again for coming, bro.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Well, have a good one. Psycho, hang on. And see you guys next time. Later.